Welcome back to the official Atari Games podcast. This is Jason here, and this is going to be a fun one. They're all fun, but this one, oh boy. Let's jump right to our guests here. First of all, we have Fabian Rastorfer, co-founder and co-lead at Fabraz, the developer on Bubsy 4D. Welcome, Fabian. How you doing?
Doing good. Excited to finally talk about this. It's been a while to keep it hidden.
Oh yeah. Also joining us is Ben Miller, co-founder and co-lead at Fabraz. Welcome,
Hello.
Ben. How you doing?
Really, really good, and excited to finally be able to talk about it.
Awesome. And joining us on the podcast again, returning in his Bubsy attire, is Sam Brown, release manager at Atari, and also producer on Bubsy 4D. It was a kind of collaboration joint between.
Is that on the record now?
It's on the record. I put it on
go
the
in
record.
my Blue Sky profile.
I thought the roles in the credits is just OG fan.
OG fan, Bubsy fan number one, Sam Brown. But let's be real, it is what it is. We're shooting straight here. So we're going to talk all about Bubsy 4D. But first, we got to do a bit of housekeeping, and then we're going to jump right into the game, talk about what the hell we're doing here and why we're doing it, and get all the dirt and details. And then, of course, I'm going to subject all my friends here to a really stupid game. We're going to have fun. So, first of all, subscribe, rate, review the podcast, do all those things. Say nice things, preferably. That would be nice. 5 stars, preferably, actually. Then you could say mean things, but, put the 5 stars. That helps the algorithm. Join the Atari Club Discord. Links below. There's a Fabraz Discord? Is there a Fabraz Discord?
There is, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Sweet. I'll link that below as well, so you could join that. I was supposed to ask you that before we started recording, but hey, this train is a rolling. Wishlist Bubsy 4D, now that it's real.
Let's go.
It's out there. Links below, of course. And if you're hearing this when it goes live, I believe there's still going to be time, if Gamescom is still going on, and you're in the Cologne area, you'll be able to play it on the show floor. So that's pretty exciting. And if you're not in Cologne, but you're in the Seattle/Pacific Northwest of the United States, then you could play it at PAX West. So all very exciting chances to play Bubsy 4D, get your hands on. And if you're not in the area and you just want to see the game in action and what's going on, well, you're watching it on YouTube. And if you're not watching on YouTube and you're listening on audio, go to YouTube, because I'm about to start playing the game and we're going to start talking about it right now after I put in this fancy time code at 3 minutes and hit recording on OBS. Stall in for time. One-man show recording these things. Oh, Bubsy 4D. Look at that. Here we are.
Real. That's crazy.
It's real. This is the game.
My
I'm
God.
just going to start, get right into it. And as this cutscene kind of plays off to kick off the game, I want to really get into the origins of how this game even came to be. And it actually started with Wade Rosen and then Sam Brown, because Wade purchased the Bubsy IP from Accolade that then became Atari owned. Sam burst through the wall like the Kool-Aid man, saying, "We got to make Bubsy 4D."
Am I?
And
that's how it happened.
And we reached out to a lot of experts in the platforming field in the indie space, and one of those was Fabraz, the gentleman that you see on the podcast now. And we loved their proposal. We actually loved every proposal. That's the reality of it, is we had so many amazing ideas for what a new Bubsy game could look like, but we decided to go with these guys, and I think that is how I want to lead into the approach. So why did you want to do this to yourselves?
We didn't. We got bullied into it.
Oh, okay.
So after the announcement was made online, I remember that I knew the moment it happened because I got assaulted by posts saying, "Oh, Fabraz should do it." To the degree where I think I literally on that day posted that Akira meme of Akira, and you get these flashbacks of horror. I was basically doing an edit of that, of just leave me alone, I don't want to do Bubsy. While of course, at the same time, we were already talking and sending you a pitch proposal and secretly loving that this might actually become a real thing.
Yeah. I think for me, there was also a little bit of like, I did play Bubsy growing up, and maybe at some point I made that wish of like, I just want to work on a childhood IP, and that monkey paw crawled down hard.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah. Is this the first hiccup of us losing Ben because he's on Wi-Fi? Is the real issue that he just talks? Now the thing is, his audio is actually recorded alongside, so we didn't actually lose what he just said, but we did miss what he just said.
Right.
So Ben, say it again, but shorter.
Sure. That this was basically, I did grow up playing Bubsy alongside all these other beloved platformers. At some point, I may have, just wished to work on a beloved childhood property that I grew up with, and the monkey paw curled hard.
Oh my god! Wow. And Sam, I gotta ask, why?
Yes.
Why? What has sparked your enthusiasm for this man, Bubsy?
Oh, is this the start button?
I mean, it's funny. That's the short of it, right? The idea that this mascot platformer has like stuck around in the public consciousness for so long. It's just like appealing, right?
Yeah.
Even if the games are fondly or unfondly remembered, it's remembered. Everyone knows who Bubsy is.
Well, I think that's kind of what gave me big appeal too. Yeah, because for me, I never grew up with Bubsy, but I knew of Bubsy and of course also the infamy of it. Starting with basically Bubsy 3D specifically, right? And the appeal for me when we were kind of like working on the pitch was that like there's a reason why he's still sticking around. There's something appealing about him as a character and his design, and that was kind of what we also wanted to do. Is like, what if we kind of take the IP a little bit more seriously and kind of, be aware of the past, but also like not completely just make fun of it, but say like, hey, there's also cool shit in here that we can explore. And that I think was like the biggest appeal for me to kind of jump into this.
Yeah. Very cool. So, with that appeal in mind, what was the approach? How did you decide? All right, guess we're gonna do this. We're gonna make a proposal for Bubsy 4D. What is the logic between leading up to your approach and now that we're in development, pretty far along here?
Yeah, I mean, of course, the amazing thing is that like there's technically been 2 attempts of reviving the IP in the past, right? That had very, very different approaches. You've had the first one that was kind of trying to bring the 2D platforming back, and then you had one that was a twist of like a runner, essentially, a time musical runner. But you've never had an attempt of actually doing a 3D platformer again since Bubsy 3D, which is clearly the most infamous of them all. And so, having the opportunity to actually explore that as a return is really, really appealing to me, and was really, really fun for us to explore with the mindset of like our design philosophies that we've been exploring with our previous games, both with Demon Turf and currently with Demon Tides, where let's dive into the really expressive part of platform, that like emergent subgenre where you can cross the same gap in multitude of different ways, and it makes you feel creative and playful by just doing that, right? Like you don't have a singular jump to do the same thing over and over again. You've got like 3, 4, 5 moves you can combine, and you start unlocking essentially this kind of 4D brain of figuring out the space and how to cross it. And I think that's what we lead into hard here, gameplay wise.
And I think that's super important, right? Because that I feel like, and this was part of like the internal proposal, was that in the jump to 3D, you lost that sense of speed and like platforming, where the original Bubsies were like very like you're like fast. There's a lot
Sonic-esque,
of different, like, ways
really.
you could go. Yeah. And Bubsy 3D sort of like lost that, but.
Mm-hmm.
with this
And that was a
game.
big part of when we were first kind of like prototyping and thinking about how to approach it, was looking back at those older games, like partially Bubsy 3D, but also back at the ones that preceded it. And like, yeah, there's a lot of that Sonic identity, there's a lot of momentum.
Yeah.
And just looking at like what is the core essentials that constitute a Bubsy game, it's like it's the glide, it's that momentum, it's the humor, and that was kind of what we started to dig into and focus on for how we built it out for this.
Yeah, and one conscious decision that we kind of did, and it's going to come up in a second as an ability, is the hairball move, which is new in his moveset, right? And that comes from seeing the Sonic qualities in the previous Bubsy games and figuring out how can we bring that in to this 3D platformer without it impeding on the more precision-based expressive platforming. Because that's kind of like the danger sometimes. Like some 3D Sonics people would argue the momentum is too heavy to do precise jumping. And so our happy middle that we kind of are approaching here is that everything until now you saw was expressive, more precise platforming. And now you've got the hairball, and segments that use the hairball are all about speed and building up momentum, working with slopes because it's physics-based essentially, right? So that hairball is essentially like a weird Super Monkey Ball attempt almost of physics-based speed. But that meshes with some of the original intent, I think, the original design philosophies of Bubsy 1, of running fast down slopes like Sonic.
Yeah, the hairball is awesome. It was also I love the animation of like going really fast on the hairball as well. It's just really fun and silly and goofy, and it's like a perfect encapsulation of I think the original Bubsy, right? They're also trying to go for this Saturday morning cartoon vibe, and the animations, especially when you look at the hairball and the double jump flutter, it really reinforces that Saturday morning cartoon, like with the squiggly legs that I'm just doing over and over again if you're watching the YouTube video.
Yeah, I mean, getting the comedy right was another really big part of development over the last 10, well, I guess by the time this is up, 11 months.
Yeah, it's very cool. And also, I think it's important to note here, I mean, we shouldn't dismiss the prior work that Fabraz has done. So why not touch upon the journey to get to this point, how you even ended up on our list, because there's a reason, and I think that's worth getting into.
Yeah, I mean, for anyone who doesn't know, we have a lot of platformer games in our portfolio. There's Slime Sand, which was a 2D platformer, and that was kind of in the fast-paced, precision-based Meat Boy style. And there we started already exploring this kind of like more combinatorial moveset concept. We brought that then into our 3D platformer called Demon Turf that we published with Playtonic. And there we had just a lot of fun exploring that concept further. And we really kind of found this emergent subgenre. But by the end of it, we released it and we weren't satisfied yet with how, like, we thought we could take it further. And so then, since then, we announced Demon Tides, which is a quasi-sequel, a very large, ambitious open world platformer that then, works upon these ideas even more. And I think people will quickly notice that when they play, for example, the Demon Tides demo that's up right now, and the Bubsy demo either at Expos or at a later date, the game itself, there's a lot of shared identity. And that's both on a technical level, that's on a design sensibility level, because we are just basically building up this foundational knowledge that we're obviously also applying a lot now to Bubsy 4D.
Yeah, very cool. I think it's worth, let's talk about these guys for a minute, because there's a whole cast of characters that we've tapped into. I mean, you mentioned the humor, but there's also the story, and the humor comes from the characters, right? And that's not just that's the supporting cast of Terry and Terry. It's Oblivia, who I'm about to talk to.
Her first video game appearance.
It's
true.
Maybe we shouldn't elaborate more on that but what was the writing process like in pulling all these characters together and making the most out of them?
So a big part for me was I wanted to really identify like which ones are the most appealing characters in concept, and then how can we translate them into designs that feel a little bit more to the time, because some of the designs of these characters were very, they felt very late 90s, early 2000s in a style that I don't think is necessarily super appealing to everyone anymore, but we still wanted to keep the core identity of them. But then we also tried to identify like what are the parts of their personalities that work and which ones are the ones that didn't. And so we kind of tried to, dance that fine line between these are the characters you might have encountered before, but they're also clearly redefined and their own thing now here. And this applies to Bubsy's personality, but it applies also to Oblivia, to Terry and Terry, Virgil, and as you said, the comedy comes from the characters, and so the key thing really was to just add as many interactions between them as possible. And so, we have these very defined larger story cutscenes that are going to be fully voice acted, but then we also have these characters appear on every level that you land on, because you land on the planets, right? And they're always there, and they have their own little context and stupid little things to say that hopefully make you laugh. We really tried to make this something that feels pleasant. Like, it's not just comedy that makes fun of itself all the time, but it's comedy that just is, there's a self-awareness, but then there's also just like, let's have fun together, let's explore this new thing we're building here.
Right. Also, right now I'm just kind of going off the beaten path, and I think one thing that's interesting about the levels and how you've designed them is that there's multiple ways to interact with each of the levels, right? You have your kind of golden path, and then that steers you into these exploration areas. How does that work from a design philosophy?
Yeah, it's basically the core idea of a level is that you have the main path that always leads to a golden fleece at the end. It's the golden star equivalent. But then you have a optional. Yeah, never heard of it. Then you have an optional path that is either secret or has some sort of extra challenge to it. That leads to a blueprint, and that allows you to unlock new abilities, which we can show off later. And then the third thing you do on your first run is also collecting all the yarn balls, which is basically the collectathon aspect. And so you've got basically 3 tasks every time you do your first run through a level. And then once you complete it, you'll see that there's also a trophy time. That's essentially your 4th task that most of the time is reserved for your second run when you already are familiar with the layout, and then you try to beat it in a certain time. And so with that, you kind of, in your first run, you really get to explore the level, take your time, have all these kind of different areas and secrets to find. And then in your second one, you can really hone in and like speedrun focus. And that's even basically a training point to then go and compete in the leaderboards, which at this point, any fan of ours are extremely familiar with.
It's a little like that, the sort of shared sort of foundations we've been building over the years. That's something that I think is a little bit of a staple of ours, is like rather dense layering to levels of multiple ways you want to engage with it and play with it. That speaks to different kinds of players and different sensibilities, whether you're just there for the speedrun, the challenge, the exploration, the whimsy of exploring the world and finding everything.
Yeah. It's great. I mean, it's cool because it gives you, it gets the most out of every level. That replay value is important, and I think for people who get obsessive, like Astrobot, I think has unlocked something for
a lot of speedrunners.
On a more public stage than I think has ever been done before. Yeah. So hopefully those people will also jump on and see this and say, oh, look at this.
If Demon Turf and Demon Tides are anything to go by, my hope is the same, because one of my favorite effects that I've seen when I watch people's playthrough, I'm like a lurker, right? Like I watch so many people's streams and playthroughs without them knowing. That sounds so creepy now. But I mean, that's I'm just enjoying people enjoying our game.
Heavy breathing, I assume?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
They are at least streaming, right?
Yeah, totally.
Mostly,
binoculars through a window or something. No.
I like the way you play our game.
But what I love is what happens is they finish a level, they see the time, and they're like, whoa, how the hell did people get this and this time? I'm just going to try it real quick. I'm not a speedrunner, but I'm going to try it. Just humor me for a second. And suddenly 1 hour later, they've done the same level over and over again, still insisting that they're not really speedrunners. But at this point, I'm sorry to say, you are, and you've become
You're dabbling.
One,
You're definitely dabbling.
Exactly.
That's like speedrunners. That's like the person who says, and I mean, this. I don't want this to lead to a big debate. The person is like, I don't play games, as they're playing like level 3,000 of Candy Crush on their phone. Yeah. You're right. You're not playing games at all.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, you've probably spent more money than I have on them in the last year.
Exactly. And we made some attempts to also make this more approachable over time. So like one thing that this game has that it shares with Tides, but for example, Demon Turf didn't have, is ghost racing. So one thing that we identified with Demon Turf, for example, is that like that very question, how the heck did the first spot get that time? The only way you could find out is by hopefully Google, like looking it up on YouTube and seeing a recording of it, or on speedrun.com, right? Which is not super accessible. And now in the game, you can just race their ghosts and literally see them do exactly what they did in the level, and you can try to mimic it and then maybe optimize it and even improve on it. And I think that's really cool, because like that unlocks a whole, that there's no gatekeeping of information what the best route is, basically, which is kind of a fun thing.
Yeah. So let's say it right now. Fastest time that people should be trying to achieve when they play this game on show floors and keep coming back. What's the time to beat for level 1?
Oh, I'd have to check. I mean, Sam at this point, I think, has run it more than Ben and I have, so he'll know.
You will see my name on the top of the leaderboard of every level. Let's see how you could open it up here at the end.
Yeah, I guess we can do a live test where the current range is.
Oh yeah, here we go. Let's see what we got.
Oh, who's that? Smoke
55 seconds.
Yeah, and I would be second place only because I think Sam did that.
Mm-hmm.
On your profile, yeah.
Yeah. I am not the.
That's not legit. Strike that from the leaderboard.
That's right. Yeah, you could. It's fine. You could reset it. There's no way I would get that. But yeah, this is exciting too, and I believe. Yeah, I mean, I might as well just show it, right? I think it's very exciting. You guys, what compels you to put in the dress up aspect of these games?
It's fun.
It's fun.
Fair
Yeah. I mean,
enough.
yeah. All right. That's it. Wrap up with the podcast, really.
Yep. Why do you do things? Fun. Oh.
Why say
We
many
answered
words when
everything.
few words do good?
Why do you dress up before you go outside?
Well, I mean, a
It's
lot of it's
illegal
probably
not
coming
to.
back to that kind of like the expressive platform part, like agency, expression, just doing something that's unique to you and your playstyle. It just lets you put your own spin on it.
Also, I really just like rewarding the player all the time, right? Like anything you collect, I feel like should lead to something cool that you can unlock. That's kind of my general design philosophy.
So of course you put in this
Had to
the
put
classic
it in.
the classic
Had to do
Bubsy
it.
3D model, which
Never
is
forget where you came from.
That's
Which
not
is
my
in the
favorite
trailer.
one, though. That's not my favorite outfit.
Yeah, your
Are we
favorite
showing
is
the
this
favorite? Oh, there it is.
Hedgehog style right there.
Just like our favorite hedgehog.
Yeah. It is hilarious. I think the funny thing is, by the way, if you're listening, Hedgehog Style puts shoes on him and gloves and a sensor bar over his, the jungle region, which is hilarious because it's always exposed in every other skin, which just makes it more hilarious.
If you take the
That's
jacket
true.
off, he becomes naked.
Yeah, it's like
Oh.
Donald Duck. If he takes off his
That's-
little
that's the
sailor
rule.
jacket, he's naked. That's clear as day.
And then, of course, we
don't make
have,
rules, we just support them.
of course, there are all the upgrades as well that you can buy.
Mhm.
And I have one blueprint, so I could buy one of these. Let's go down the line. What favorite upgrade of the list?
I think the twirl jump is currently not appreciated enough. I think it has a lot of capabilities.
All right.
I really like the
quickly
crouch
spin in
sprint
place, then jump to trigger a twirling and slow descending high jump. Ben, what do you say?
I forget what we called it. It's the one that lets you crouch and do a speed burst out that I like kind of being able to like cue it up when
Zoomy?
falling.
Zoomy.
Yeah, zoomy, that's it.
I like the animation that
Mhm.
when he's like
Yeah,
revving
there
it
we
up.
go. Yeah,
And also
very
like
cool.
like the moments of channeling a little bit of that cat energy of the like crouching
Oh, yeah.
down, butt wiggle,
like
getting
wiggling his
ready,
butt.
springing out.
Oh yeah, that is fun. Sam, what say you?
I love the hairball drift, where you
Yes.
sort of like hold yourself in place, you rev up the hairball, and then you shoot out in the direction that you're facing.
Yeah, if there's
really
ever
fun
a
to play with.
if the Bubsy franchise now takes its natural course of order, I think that everybody in the inevitable kart racing game, Bubsy
Yes.
is the only one who doesn't get a car, and he just has
just
to
a
be in
big
ball form the whole time.
This has
I don't
come up
know.
multiple times, yes.
I just want him to be a guest in the next Garfield card. Okay, that's my main goal here.
Hey,
That's what I'm
Garfield
here for.
kart people, call us.
Reach out, Jim Davis.
Has anyone seen Garfield
Jimmy,
and Bubsy
give
in
us
the
a
same
call.
place at the same
Jimmy
time?
D.
They're different people, Ben.
This sounds like identity theft.
People,
They're different people.
people or cats.
Whoa.
Right.
Shots fired.
Different people. They're different people. Oh man, in the original, so before the Bubsy model was created, let's look at this guy for a second here. Fabian and Ben they provided a prototype, and it was kind of a version using the model of Beebs, I guess.
Mhm.
But they couldn't just do that. No, they had to make it this horrifying fur man. And I don't even know how to explain this thing. It was cursed. It was because it had like human proportions. But
So what you're saying is we should bring it back as an outfit.
I have been bringing this up, so
gotta
I'm
be-
in
I think it's
favor
gotta
of
be in
this.
there.
It's not.
I think again,
terrible. idea.
acknowledge where you came from.
Yeah, the prototype
History's
suit.
important.
You just call the outfit Beebsy.
All right, look at this. Majority
what's
rules.
this?
If you got it, you get into the comments below. If you want the prototype suit, make a comment saying include the prototype suit.
Hashtag.
I think
prototype.
Jason is right. You will
Prototype
you
cut.
say you will want it now, and then you'll regret it very much later.
Also, what
I think
what
that's
would
on
the
brand.
what would the ball form of the prototype suit look like?
Oh god.
Mhm.
That would
I think
be.
we just made
has-
it a big sphere that with like Beebs' head sticking out.
Oh god, it has to be because it has to be as cursed as
Right.
the prototype model
Well, you know,
itself.
it had a ball form in that prototype.
It
and
did,
was
yeah.
Kind of like a big head, right?
Yeah,
That
right.
was
With the
the
Yeah,
Bubsy
I
baby
think so.
texture on it, I think.
giant
Yeah.
Bubsy
Which
head.
was how we also
Mhm.
did just her head. Like that, we just had a capsule with like just a texture of Bubsy's face over it. And the difference is, if we actually do this for the full release, then you get the budget to make it actually cursed. Like acapella sound effects just in place of like the proper
God.
good ones we've made.
That kind of
What if
reminds
the
me of like
boss-
an idea that we have with the hedgehog style one. The hedgehog style outfit is that we have dynamic head IK, which basically means NPCs and enemies they will look towards you, right, when you walk by. And we really, for the outfit when he's naked, quote unquote, we wanted to reverse it so they constantly try to look away, just like never look at Bubsy.
We have
Which is
facial
very
reactions, so like that panic creeping in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, this is a level that is not necessarily. We haven't really decided how long. The demo is just going to be like the first level. So this is something.
Yeah,
we've not
tutorial
seen
level in the
demo.
first level, so this is past
So
level.
This is the
Get a
sneak
little
peek.
extra here.
see some more examples of some of those secret areas I just found to get the silver yarn ball. Also, you mentioned the voices before. Let's talk about the cast.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Who's who in this game?
So we've got Sean Chiplock of Ravioli fame, who is voicing Bubsy, and he's doing an absolutely spectacular job. And one of my favorite aspects when working on this game, I have to say, is like leaning into the commentary aspect, where Bubsy just constantly talks, right? Like obviously we're trying to rein it in a way that is not actually obnoxious, and we're trying to add a lot of variation of lines. But like he will say things about, characters he encounters, things he'll encounter. He will talk when you have the menus open, and will commentate on things you're doing in the menu. And I think Sean is doing such a killer job on just breathing so much life into Bubsy. So I'm really
Absolutely.
excited.
He
to experience
just
that.
locked into that character and brought so much
Mhm.
energy and even some Bubsy-esque insights. Like the line of like, where's Sean versus Bubsy? Like at times, I just didn't even know.
Other voice actors, just so I make sure everybody's credited, we've got
Yeah, of course.
Amy Smith, we've got Marissa Lenti, we've got Philip Sacramento, and we've got Duper. And that's the primary cast for all the characters.
Who exactly made blueprints?
They're all doing
Yeah, they did a
awesome.
great job.
Yeah.
You primarily hear the voice of Bubsy during the trailer. See how good of a job is being done there. It's really great. I mean, I think
Yeah,
that
you
just
mentioned the
adds a whole nother
variety of
dimension.
lines. I love how everything he says is sort of like, depending on like where you are, or like what you're looking at, he'll
Mhm.
say like an appropriate line, not just like a bunch of random one-liners.
Yeah, no, exactly. That was a big one. So, like, unlike Bubsy 3D, where he just says random things that have nothing to do with the context, these are always contextual, which I think does make a very big difference.
What was the pilot license one? Pilot license one? for?
License what for?
What is? Yeah, I'm not gonna. talk
Every
about
time
that.
he
That's
glides.
fine. Every time. This is. I always look at this as a giant watermelon. I know it's not, but it looks like that. So therefore,
It is something
With
that
summer vibes.
like you kind of want to bite into for some reason.
It is canonically. It's canon. It's a big water. It's a big watermelon.
You know what I do? You know what I do a lot, and my team always makes fun of me, is that like when we're discussing story, I always say, in my head canon it's this and this, and then everybody's like, that means it's canon.
Yeah, you wrote it.
Yeah.
You did this. This is your fault.
Did you?
Yep.
It's funny to think about. Did you feel any pressure in creating a new Bubsy game? Like, how do you reconcile the fact that you are making a sequel to a game that is, mostly when sequels are made, it's for games that people universally like,
right?
And that's not the case for Bubsy 3D. And while there is a lineage and a legacy of this game, there are blemishes in the history.
Right.
So how do you take that into account, and what kind of pressure does that put on you when saying, yeah, all right, we're gonna make this game that is kind of not like it's almost the opposite of what, like, Night Dive, for example, they do such a great job at making games the way you remember them, right? And that was kind of when I did the Recharge series, it was always, hey, let's make the game that it's like you remember playing them. You don't want to make a game the way you remember Bubsy 3D.
Right. It's an interesting question. So obviously, I'd say the pressure was there for sure, and still is. But I don't think I was necessarily ever like particularly stressed, because I think of two reasons. Like, one, I think I have a dev perspective with all the games that were released under the Bubsy's IP, and like I know that nobody wants to release a bad game, and everybody has only the intention to create something, that they're passionate about and they find great. Doesn't always work out that way, but I feel if you tap that perspective, you can see the nuggets in everything where there's something cool in there. And so we approach that with that kind of respect, while then also still being realistic and dissecting exactly what doesn't work, and then obviously that combined with, and this is the second point, is just combined with the unbelievable talent of the team that I have. Like, I'm just so lucky to have such a good team that, like, I know if I set them on a certain task, we'll create something cool. And so as long as I have that confidence in my team, I can lower that pressure a little bit on myself, because I just know that there'll be something enjoyable in here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything to add to that, Ben? Or no, you're kind of...
Yeah, no, I mean, like, plus pointing to everything Fabian just described of, like, comps to the team and sort of feeling comfortable and confident in what we know and have explored with the genre, while also want to make sure, like, we always engage with, like, acknowledge that history of what came before, and, like, that's the good, that's the bad. We really want to, like, dig into all those good things and the things that are uniquely Bubsy and that feel like great parts of the franchise that, like, people don't just remember the memes just because it was bad, but because there's also something charming and fun and like there with those games and that identity. And like also leading into that, we have fun with the humor of like, and a little bit of poking fun sometimes at even in this chat of sort of the missteps, but also just like seriously think about like what was there, what was good, and what can we build out. And like some that's just our own ideas and where to take it, but it's also a lot of responding to what's there and trying to just grow that and develop that.
Yeah, I think it kind of transcends something where there is something doesn't stick around, even if it's not of abject quality, but it doesn't stick around just because it's bad, right? I think there is a charm.
Absolutely.
You take the movie analogy of The Room. I think that is objectively a bad movie, but there is a charm there that makes it interesting, right? That kind of be like, hey,
something
this is
in the delivery that just like hooks in your brain. Like maybe it is like that sort of certain kind of humor too that like memes also unlock of the randomness, but like it speaks to something real.
Yeah.
There's also something a little bit of like maybe Fabian also there's a little bit of like a stubborn will of like there's the meme and like the expectation of like Bubsy is bad, but I think it's also gone so memed upon that it's disconnected from the reality of what was actually there. It becomes just like its own self-sustained conversation, and that if anything is like I know there's actually some good here and I want to do the best version of be like actually like Bubsy good, What if Bubsy good?
What if Bubsy good?
Yeah.
And back to your answer, like, because it's fun when it comes to like why outfits. Like, it's similar here. It's like, as long as we are having fun working on this game, which we are having a ton of fun with, that will also be reflected in the game, I think.
Mm-hmm. And that was a real moment of like, first with the prototyping of like, what the hell are we doing? Peak moment of like,
that hairball
with Bubblehead and Bubsy. But then like a few weeks into actually fully prototyping it out and like develop, it's like, I'm enjoying this. Oh God. There's something here, and then we just lean into that more and more.
And I think the original game having that kind of hybrid of, we talked about it before, but the kind of Sonic influence and somewhere between Sonic and Mario, both on, because that was the original premise, right? The original game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good stuff. This is also, so this is level 3. And I think this is also a cool thing when I first saw. By the way, if you see anything go weird, the game's not done. All right. So we haven't even done any formal QA on this.
You do
game
in the comments.
So if you're looking at this YouTube video, be like, hey, what's going on here? We got plenty of time. All right. We got plenty of time. And but the time of day. I remember first seeing this level and seeing the orange water and the sunset. It's just very cool. So you get that kind of time progression, which is pretty sweet.
The environments in general are all really like awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Everything made out of like felt and fabrics, but also sort of keeping the vibe of like the original, like with like the buildings and the cars and everything, and like
even the half pipe in the first level having this kind of like knitted
water
slide, texture,
right?
like the water slide. Exactly. We definitely made sure that these things exist, and one of our main artists, Sabi, she's so good at this stuff. Like whenever she concepts, she has that only bangers basically, and like the moment she draws anything, most of our team are like, yeah, of course, now we have to do it, even if we didn't budget for it. Thank you.
There's like just straight up like recreations of some of her concept art, just because like it's such a good vibe or mood.
Yeah,
and she digs deep into the research, because there was definitely like we were starting out and a solid couple weeks where then she got really into the Bubsy pilot and posting stuff, and we were concerned.
Bubsy lore master in our chat. That's
Bubsy lore.
Basically, references that only Sam Brown will appreciate.
Oh yeah,
right.
I'm sure there's Sam and Audie would do as well.
I think there was one piece of dialogue where Sam called us out and said, like, actually, it's not that way.
I did actually do on a piece of PC dialogue.
Totally fair.
What was it? Do you remember what it was?
How the Woolies were treated by one of the previous villains in the series.
Oinker P. Ham in the. I say the second game, but they didn't even meet in the second game. They were in Paws on Fire together, and not even really on screen at the same time.
That's a weird thing about a lot of the characters, right? It's like some were just in like a pilot episode, some were like in a manual, some like it's very strange how little interaction there were between some of these characters, which obviously we tried to rectify. But yeah, with the environment designs, like we had basically two philosophies when it came to level design and environment design. So the game is comprised out of 3 planets, right? And we wanted to make sure that each planet has its fundamental theming. And so you've got the first one that we're currently still on, which is all about knitting and felt and wool. We've got the second one that's all about arts and crafts. So you've got cardboard, scissors, aluminum foil, that kind of stuff. And then the third one is all about factories, metal, rust, and swamps. But then within those planets, we also wanted to make sure that each level has its own core central theme. So like this one here, you've got the sunset, and you've got this highway bridge made out of lace. So we try to do that to constantly, always make everything feel new and cool. And the same thing applies to the level design, where every level has usually something new we introduce, some new mechanics, some new hazard that we basically introduce at the beginning and then push towards its maximum by the end of the level. And then we kind of, not necessarily throw it out, but we move on and we bring in the next one. And we just kind of constantly keep you on your toes, so that similarly to how with the moveset and how with the expressive moveset, you'll explore your favorite combos and you'll kind of play differently over time. You'll also experience different hazards and interactables over time. And it's just, our hope is that basically it really always feels fresh.
Yeah, you did a
This
great
level
job.
is also a good showcase of like that expressiveness. Like you're weaving in and out of that hairball form.
Yeah.
to make it across this like highway segment is like really cool, really fun to like play around with, especially when you're like speed running.
Oh, the mastery of like weaving in and out of the hairball, that's like the meta, I think. Like once you've mastered that's when you really are unlocking the potential here.
Yeah, just treating it as like just another sort of lever to pull to move in and out. I think a lot of how we approach like our sort of move sets and general mechanics is sort of the simplest, the golden path, as Jason put it, of like what you need to do to complete it, and a lot of that you don't need to leverage these sort of higher level skills, but then you can really dig into those and do a lot more with like the level design, the platforming, completing the leaderboards once you understand kind of like more the nuance to actually combine these things.
Yeah. That's great. I mean, and it feels great. I mean, whether you want to play it as just kind of basic platformer, or if you want to push yourself and try to even just going off to the secret areas, like you don't have to do that. You can go through the game, take your time, and then you could effectively play through the game 3 times, get 3 different experiences if you want. And then
and missed a secret area early on in this level.
Yeah, I
so
know.
You would know. You want to replay it, find that. If you were a secret hunter.
Look at Sam being a backseat gamer here.
Is it a backseat gamer if I didn't say anything when he passed it?
Fair.
There's a cutoff window.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. What else do we want to talk about, guys? Before, because I don't think I want to show the entire first planet. I don't. I think I'm going to stop playing here unless I go back to another level. But what are some things that you want to let people know about before?
Did you talk about the new villains at all? I don't think.
We didn't really talk about the story at all.
It's really like great aspect of this. You introduce new characters into the Bubsy lore.
I think I have enough to buy the 3D skin. So.
But yeah, it was kind of seen in the cutscene, but of course now while we were talking, I don't know how much people were able to pay attention or not. But basically the gist of the narrative is that the Woolies kidnap sheep instead of actually stealing the Golden Fleece this time, because their goal is to just make Golden Fleece themselves. But it goes completely awry, and the sheep are able to upgrade themselves with Woolly technology to become cyborgs called Barbots. And these Barbots then actually come to Bubsy's planet and steal all the Golden Fleece because they feel like it's rightfully theirs to begin with. And so narratively, the Woolies are kind of like an enslaved species here under the Barbot rule, and the 3 the 3 leaders of the Barbots are called the Barbosses, and they're Barbie, Bartolomeo, and Baptiste.
You can imagine where the A's go.
Yeah, you can wonder exactly.
Say with more or less information on it.
Baptiste, Bartolomeo,
Bobby.
And so, yeah, those are
enslaved Woolies over here.
Yeah, exactly. And so we tried to inject a lot of personality into these 3 new ones. They interact with Bubsy throughout the beginning when you enter their planet, and then also have their own intricate boss fights and everything. So we had a lot of fun introducing them into the Bubsy lore.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the enslaved, the Woolies are hilarious in this. They are truly
eternally depressed beings.
Yeah, and some. I would implore anybody when you do get your chance to play the game, like talk to everyone, because the NPC dialogue is so good. And it made me laugh out loud on multiple occasions playing the as production has moved forward. It's just really great. It's really clever, really funny. And this is somebody who, I'll be honest, I don't have affinity for the classic Bubsy games. So whether you're a Bubsy fan or not, you could jump into this thing and just have a really fun, silly experience, and just a genuinely great 3D platformer.
And that was our goal, right? Like, this is a game we've really, like, Bubsy fan or not, if you've never heard of this Bobcat before, that's perfectly fine. Also, what a beautiful life.
Ignorance is bliss.
But the game really is. I mean, the entire idea is that really you don't need to know the IP at all.
Yeah, it's great.
A lot of that probably could sum up how we approach the design in general. Is like, if this is just like the first and only Bubsy you'll ever play, like, we want to just be a good time.
Yeah, and it is. I think it is. And with that, I'm not gonna run across this bridge. So I'm just gonna stop right there. I will stop the recording, and not the well. I'm gonna stop the gameplay, and we will transition into one of my stupid games. But like I said, you can, and I'll remind you again at the end. But the game is great. You can wish list it now, and nothing to announce as far as when it's coming out. But the game is coming along really, really nicely. These guys have been doing a hell of a job, and in return to thank them for that, I'm going to make them play a really stupid game right now of trivia.
Oh no!
So,
oh no! What's happening?
just what you guys want to do. People come to the podcast for the games, and they stay for the game when they can't hit the mark as played button on their podcast feed. So, game I'm making you guys play today. I don't really have titles for these games. It's kind of unfortunate, right? But this is the marketing game or something. So I love diving into Moby games and digging into, and we're talking about old games that had actual print ads and box arts and those kind of things, like a pull quotes. And there's some crazy stuff that comes up, and I have dug into the depths of Bubsy in Claw's Encounter of the Third Kind.
Hey, you got it.
Bubsy 2 and Bubsy 3D marketing materials. Okay.
All right.
And I have pulled quotes from each of those. Now, I am going to read you one, and then you will tell me which one that quote is from. And we'll keep it simple. Just Bubsy 1, 2, or 3.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Very simple.
All right.
If you get it wrong, next person gets a chance. If they get it wrong, next person gets a gimme if they were paying attention. Make sense?
I think makes
Sounds
sense.
good.
Great. I go alphabetical by first name because as I've stolen generally most of these ideas or sparks, the games are unique, but the premise is taken from Doug Loves Movie style games. So therefore, I am also cribbing his approach to how to go alphabetically in who goes first. So yeah, wish I could say it was something more creative than that, but it's not. All right, but I did draft the game. First quote. We'll start with you, Ben.
Okay. Bring it.
Now, this is an actual quote. It says, "Establishing a new standard in the platforming genre." Bubsy 1, 2, or 3D. By the way, you get a point for every right answer. Person with the most points wins. What you win?
I would
Usually
say
nothing.
3D. Like that, such a bold game warrants such a bold statement.
Yeah, that is correct. And I need to give you the. So that's actually a quote from. So it says ... establishing a new standard in the platforming genre from Next Generation. Okay, now
We could just
there-
use that same quote.
now there
Look
are
back.
That aged
There
so badly.
other quotes. There are other quotes on the back of this box that were too obvious, so I didn't go with them. But this was my favorite quote. ... Underwater based levels very reminiscent of Mario 64. End quote from PS Extreme, which is a
When we did
crazy thing to put on the
It
back
is.
of a box.
But legit, I was impressed when I actually saw the water levels when we did our research. Like when we found there's ambition there. Like I thought that was actually kind of wild.
They had ideas.
Yeah. And like
sure.
it was actually in like a direction you hadn't seen before, and there was something there. It's also there was a lot to figure out first, maybe that didn't get resolved.
I remember that you were struggling a lot, Ben, in that segment.
There was a lot going on. It was a bit of a fever dream.
It's just pretty wild when you're trying to think of, hey, what's the best thing we can talk about for this game? Like they got 3 quotes here.
The water level.
What's going to compel people? Hey, you know what the best thing about this game is? The water levels.
The water levels are good.
The ceiling. Oh boy.
Best in-app purchases possible.
Yeah, it's something like that. I agree 100%. It's that
It's just
kind
like
of
the combined force of the most cursed like game marketing statements you can find.
All right.
Pausing cutscenes. Who needs them?
Fabian, you get to guess on this one.
Okay.
What? I didn't approve this ad. This is deformation of character.
Okay. So because
Bubsy
we just
1,
had
2, or
3D, I'm
3D?
going to strategically say it's not that. And this implies that he already existed, so I'm going to say Bubsy 2.
That is incorrect.
Damn!
Sam, what? I didn't approve this ad. This is deformation of character.
That's got to be the first game.
That is the first game. It's
Yeah.
1 point for Sam.
Trying to
This
establish his personality and all the ads and everything.
Yeah, the full quote says, "What? I didn't approve this ad. This is deformation of character or slander. Get my attorney on the horn. Hey, is anybody listening to me? I want my mommy," with a bunch of E's.
Now I'll do you one
Wow.
better.
Did
This
they have to hit like a word quote or something?
Truly,
Is this
brevity
the
is
print
the soul
ad?
of wit.
Yeah.
is this the print ad with the big text wall, and he's sort of
Correct. So this isn't even the
ripping
main
out of
thing.
the
This
page.
is the small text on this ad.
That in his speech bubble where he's
got
it.
ripping out of the page and
Got it.
interrupting.
That's gotta
the
be
ad.
worth like 3 points. I mean, like you source the exact
Exactly.
reference point.
I don't
You wanna-
have it up. I can confirm that.
Well, don't bring it up. No cheating.
I would never. Not in relation to
Just
Bubsy.
research.
All right, Ben, you get the next one. Quote, and this was in quotation marks for some reason. "One false grunt, pig lips, and your bacon bits." End quote.
Oh, it's so aggressive. Jesus. Second game?
Yes, that is correct. Bubsy
Yeah.
2.
I mean, it's obvious. Like,
Oinker
like
PM.
Orker Peace Swine. Is that's definitely his
That's
name,
right.
right? Yeah,
You got it. Yep.
it is.
Uh-huh.
It's
I
obviously
didn't know
from-
that.
from-
This is a bit. I definitely wasn't guessing that, but it's a clear tell.
Oinker P. Ham is the villain's name.
Oh.
in-
I
in
said
the
his
second
cousin.
That's right. More lore that we're introducing.
David, we need to write this down for the DLC.
Save it for Bubsy 5D.
It's just been my headcanon. Oh, wait.
Oh, yikes.
Uh-oh.
All right, let's
We can
let's
rewrite
move on to the
reality
next
with this.
All right, Fabian, this next one's for you. By the way, that one is from a crazy ad where he's actually holding a Nerf blaster, which is shooting a bunch of balls, and it's actually branded Nerf.
Nerf, yes.
I think I know that
In
one.
the
With
game, I
Nerf.
think in like the flying sections, right?
He always has a Nerf blaster on him in
That's
that game that you
right.
can swap to, and he'll. But it isn't labeled as Nerf in the game, just in
Okay.
like.
So
ads
this isn't like a
In the
Sonic
ads.
Adventure 2 with the
Soap
branded
shoes.
shoes. Yeah.
yeah.
Or
So-
or
so-
Death
so-
Stranding crushing Monster Energy drinks.
Is it too late
Hang on.
to add
I think you-
shoes into Bubsy?
I think you gave me the answer then, right? Because that would
Well,
mean
this
it's
was-
Bubsy
this
2
was-
before I even get the quote.
No,
I think
that
this
was the
was for
last
mine.
one. That was the one
gotcha.
false grunt piglet
Those are
and
fun
your
facts.
bacon bits. So that's
Gotcha.
Bubsy saying that thing. No,
Yes.
you got a great one, Fabian.
Okay.
Here we go. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna take one buff bobcat.
One buff bobcat. Oh, jeez.
Yep. It's
That
gonna
could be
take
any of
one
them.
Buff bobcat.
It's true.
Okay.
He's buff in all of them. That's sexy.
Is he?
Very strong. He's a very strong Bobcat. He's always flipping around and like jumping on things.
He's always doing handstands,
He's got
Showing
to be
off.
strong.
showing off how
I'm-
buff he is.
I guess I'll say. I mean, he's really tiny in the third one, so I'm just gonna say the first one. I guess.
Incorrect.
Oh my god, this is not my game.
Sam, don't worry. I have 30 more rounds of this. Sam, it's gonna take one buff bobcat.
This one I'm not super sure about, but I'm going to say the second one.
That is correct. It's from Bubsy
Nice.
2. I'm not going to say any more about this ad because let's just move on. Bubsy. All right, here we go.
Some
Interesting
of these
reaction.
ads. You know which one I always think about when we talk about these kind of ads is the Raymond urinal one. Like that one always just like permanently
Yeah.
in my head.
Peak 90s.
All
Mm.
right, Ben, back to you. You are neck and neck with Sam so far. If you want a recap of the score, Ben, you have 2. Sam, you have 2. Fabian is present. This is your next line. Full of Bubsy humor, wisecracks, and attitude.
I'm gonna say 3D because I feel like that
He
does
talks a
protest too
lot.
much. Like you're really trying to convince people this.
What was that?
Oh yeah, what was that?
Oh, you know what it was?
Musical surprise.
You know what it was? I hit the that's like a prefabbed Zencaster audio beat. So
Are you still
I just
there? Like
so when I
music?
hit
Oh.
so I was not on the spreadsheet. So
I
I
thought
hit
this was like
one,
the
and I guess
surprise
that
round,
hit
like in
the.
Jeopardy, where it's like
Yeah,
now it's like the lightning round.
No, the point is
What
that's
game?
correct though. That's the right answer. That was from the trailer for Bubsy 3D. It was really difficult to find any advertising material for Bubsy
Yeah.
3D other
Because
than
it was
the
kind of like a really difficult development, I think, from my understanding.
Yeah.
Like deadlines
Well.
not being met, funding running out, rough stuff.
It's also from that era that like you just have to get lucky, probably of, like the studio doing documentation for some reason, or like VHS recordings from like a TV ad spot or something.
Right.
Yeah, it looks like it. Also, I'm pretty sure that whole trailer is using Comic Sans. All right,
Perfect.
Fabian, next one is yours.
I'll get
Still
the next
a chance
one
to
wrong.
come
Let's do
back
it.
here. We settled on a flea-bitten mangy or mangy
Mangy?
bobcat named Bubsy.
That sounds like the first game as an introduction.
That would be correct. So
Yay, a point!
Sam was referencing the this ad with a big wall of text. That is what he is reacting to. The full wall of text says, "To launch our new 16 meg game, we wanted to hire the biggest star in Hollywood, but since we couldn't afford him, we settled on a flea-bitten mangy bobcat named Bubsy." And then
Defamation
Bubsy
of character.
pops through the ad complaining about deformation of character.
Wow, Bubsy just getting negged from day one.
Yeah.
You know
Never
what
had
the
a
thing
chance.
is? Kids, the only thing kids love more than a mascot platformer is litigation. Sam, your next quote is this. I love this. Bring a sleeping bag.
Bring a sleeping bag. Oh,
Bring a sleeping bag. That's what it
What's the
says.
intent of that line?
That's the whole quote. Bring a sleeping bag.
that
Huh.
is certainly a line. It could be any of them. I'm gonna say the second one.
That is somehow correct. I don't
What?
understand how
What?
you got that. Why? Why did
Bring
you
a
go with the
sleeping bag.
second one?
You know, there's just so much content in it. You're gonna have to sleep over your friend's house, and you're gonna have to play the whole thing,
Mhm.
right?
Hot take.
Is that it?
I was at two
Bubsy
as
2
well.
is way worse than Bubsy 1, and Bubsy 3D
That-
out of the 3 is my favorite. I had to say it.
It's so
I-
interesting to play Bubsy 3D, where the second one feels like, oh, you just kind of took the first one, and but 3D has a lot, like I said before, has a lot of ideas,
Yeah.
and it's very
Yeah.
interesting to play. I think.
Both first and 3D are actually like there's an ambition of trying something that it often doesn't meet, but is interesting to actually unpack what they were trying to do. 2 is just kind of like
I don't know what happened with the physics.
The original
It
guy,
just
Michael
feels off.
Berlin, involved in the first one and the third one, not involved in the second one. So.
there it is.
Fascinating. Still don't understand.
Well,
Still don't
Ladies
understand.
and
Still don't
gentlemen,
understand.
There it is.
Still don't understand the sleeping bag thing, but whatever.
Yeah,
All right. This is very exciting because Ben and Sam, you guys are tied with 3 points. And this is actually my last one here. All right. So Ben, you for the win. This is the quote. And it's easily my favorite quote, and it's unfathomable. So big, only madmen, fanatics, and 15-year-olds will finish.
That's pretty funny.
God,
Wow.
what a different time. What was it? Only
You want me to read it
fanatics.
again?
Yeah.
You're right. It'll help to read it again. I
Builds up
agree.
the moment,
Definitely.
you know.
Yeah. So big, only madmen, fanatics, and 15-year-olds will finish. If it helps, it's all capitalized.
That
Wow,
does.
very exciting.
Comic Sans or not?
No, not Comic Sans, but
Mhm.
the font sizes are irrationally different, like as the sentence
Radically
goes on.
expressed.
Also, this might help. The hyphenation, I guess this is right. It says 15 and then year olds is hyphened. I would assume you'd hyphen after 15, but what do I know?
I
mean,
feel
English
like I'm
minor.
being like assaulted with information at this point. Like I don't know how any of this could be relevant.
No,
Alright,
just
do you
all
want
of this, all of
all right,
this
then fine, I
extra
can bring it
detail
back.
helps.
Well, no, I can
I'll bring
I
it
can
back
make
and I'll
my
read
judgment.
you the quote. Okay, because I can read the quote one more time if it'll help.
I think I've got it. So I'm gonna guess
He's got it.
He's got
the
it.
first. Jesus,
Easy.
the first one. Now this feels too built up.
That is incorrect.
No, third one.
Fabian,
Well,
I'm not going to give you a chance because
Yeah.
I want to break this tie.
Fair.
Sam, do or die.
All right.
So big,
So
only
big.
madmen, fanatics, and 15-year-olds will finish.
I mean, it's got to be Bubsy 3D. That game's huge. That game is packed. It's so
extra
big.
dimension.
You got
That
that. You got that whole
is-
third dimension.
Bubsy 3D is incorrect.
Dun,
Ben,
dun,
Big
dun.
bag thing.
back
Oh
to
well,
you.
that doesn't.
So big,
good.
only madmen, fanatics, and 15-year-olds
crap.
will finish.
Is this a Bubsy 4D?
Which would it be?
Oh no.
Wait, actually? Shit,
No.
that would be good.
Can we
No.
reuse that quote?
Absolutely
Oh!
not.
That would have been such a good moment.
Ben, for the win, what is it?
2D on the Game Boy. No, or 2D. 2. Why am I saying 2D?
2D, that's what
I
the
don't
old
know.
one's
We've broken Ben.
Retroactive.
It is 2. It's Bubsy 2.
Okay.
Ben is the winner. Congrats, Ben.
Woo!
How does it feel?
Like I won Bubsy, so like really complicated.
So let me contextualize this ad for you because it's really strange. This is a ad. So I pulled a couple things from this ad, but this is how it goes. So it starts with that bold font at the top where it says "so" and then the big is bigger, and then only madmen, comma, fanatics, which is bigger than madmen, and 15-year-olds, which is a little bit smaller than fanatics, will finish, and then finish is bigger as well. And then it lists a bunch of bullet points. A whole new way of playing run and jump. Wonder if we could
That's
see
a
them
different game.
retroactively for that. 5 huge worlds, 30 levels, 1 or 2 players, jump from world to world, play easy, tough, or near impossible. Bring a sleeping bag.
Bring a sleeping bag. I should have.
Bubsy
made that
too.
correlation.
He's way too cool to just run and jump.
It's in plain sight.
Is that a dig at Mr. Run and Jump?
I guess, yeah, maybe. I'm not sure.
I mean, because platformer was not necessarily like in the like part of the.
It wasn't like a
Yeah.
term.
Yeah.
in
It
that way.
came later.
I think we were still in the area of like Mario likes. Kind of like Doom clones.
Yeah, pretty. I wouldn't. Yeah, because this is also Cool Spot was way after this, right?
Cool spot.
That was peak run and jumping.
Before things
Running and
really
jumping.
like started to really rev up with
So
pop.
so clearly the audience of this podcast is like late 30, 40 plus.
It's exclusively Bubsy.
Only Bubsy fans.
The audience of this podcast is you, the people listening, and you know they're out there. So
That big 15-year-old is
every-
really
every-
excited right now.
The beauty of the podcast is every episode is a different game, so I feel like people could like kind of jump on, jump off. Like I don't
Mhm.
know if the people who were interested in the what did I just do in the System Shock 2 podcast
Mm.
would be exactly the same audience of people that are interested in the Bubsy 4D podcast.
Mhm.
But I do expect some overlap because we are recording this before I record the episode prior to this, which is supposed to be about the Bubsy collection. So assuming that actually happens, then I would expect maybe there is going to be some carryover from episode
The
Maybe
canonical
we'll see all
podcast.
the
DNA,
ads.
they're all expressive games. You know, if like we add hacking, we're basically an immersive sim at that point.
You may be able to see all of these ads in the Bubsy collection.
Dun-bun.
That's
So
true.
Look out for that.
I'm
Hook.
gonna need hacking and oversized vents
Mhm.
to make it
You
a
got
true
it.
What do you
immersive
think
sim.
the tubes are?
That's a good point.
Fair.
They're 2 small tubes. He bulges outside of the tube, which is a lovely touch.
No, I
Oh
mean
my
like
God.
the half pipes, I guess.
Oh, the half pipes. That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. Not vents. What
Not
did you
vents.
just call them? Half
Air
pipes. No
goes
one's ever
through
mistaken.
them.
No one's ever mistaken a half pipe for
Air
a
goes
vent.
through lots of things.
I think you're right.
Artistic
All right.
liberties.
I think it's time to. I think it's time to wrap this up. Everybody, thank you for joining me. Ben, you won. So if you have anything you'd like to plug or point people to your social media following or whatever, then you get to talk about that first.
So I do have a social media, but I think you'd have a much better time following probably like our whole sort of group companies one of Fabraz. If you want your sort of like annual or biannual post, you can follow me at Strange Bloops on Blue Sky.
Strange Bloops?
Strange Bloops. I'm a big fan of puns. There's Strange Loops. I like bloops. Match made in heaven. Yeah, check out Bubsy 4D. Check out Demon Tides. Check out cool games.
Right
Be
on.
kind.
Heck yeah.
I don't know.
Fabian, how about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I think what Ben said is perfect. If you want to stay in touch with the Fabraz side, we've got socials everywhere. We've got a Discord. If you want to stay in touch with the Atari side, I'm sure you have all the links under this right now.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt.
You can just start a stream,
so many
and
links.
Fabian will appear behind you. You can ask him a question.
Oh yeah, that's true. If you
say my name 3 times, yeah,
if you start playing a Fabraz game, Fabian may or may not show up behind you uninvited.
So sparkle of fairy dust earlier. There he is.
Yeah. So
will the demo for your game is that still up at the time of this podcast?
Oh yeah, that's
actually we just gave it a big update with a huge performance patch. So best time to jump into Demon Tides is right now.
It's dating us. You just played our hand.
Oh no, date.
The canonical podcast timeline is in shambles.
They know.
No, this timeline's in shambles.
Oh my god. Sam, aka
Yes.
Smug Porky.
Smug Porky, every social media, mostly on Blue Sky. So follow me there.
Good stuff. And you can follow me on Blue Sky at Jays of Doom. Say hello, say nice things. Comment on the podcast below, subscribe, rate, etc., etc. All the links below. Join the Discord and both of our Discords and get the hype going. We want to know how you feel about everything that's going on with the game, and hopefully you are going to enjoy it as much as we enjoy it and as much as we've enjoyed making it, because it's truly been a really fun and exciting process to work on something like this. And yeah, I'm just super happy that it's out in the wild and we're able to finally get it out there. So stay tuned for more information about Bubsy 4D and all things Atari. Gentlemen, thanks again for joining, and I will see you all on the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.